warm greetings of the day. In this session, we are going to see the continuation of the previous session. We have seen the introduction to Android. We'll see what is Android SDK in this session. Myself, Dr. Shirisha, Associate Professor from CSE Department, MLR Institute of Technology. So this is a Unit 1 topics as we have discussed. So we have completed what is the Android platform and introduction to Android. We'll see what are the prerequisites of the Android and what is the Android SDK in this session. Prerequisites of Android. What is the basic knowledge that you require to complete, to write a design part or to write the logic part using Android Studio? So for that, you're going to use this prerequisites of Android. So what are the software requirements? So for every Android Studio, we write code in the XML part. So, and also the background logic, the business logic, you write in the Java. So that is the reason you need JDK. So JDK is a Java development kit. So that you need, and Android Studio is where it is a software to you have to install to write a Android program. So these are the hardware requirements. So you need an operating system, any operating system that we are in use today. So Windows 10 also is fine, and it should be 64-bit or Linux platform also is okay. Minimum 4 GB and RAM is okay, but 8 GB is recommended because you need a space to put all your APK files and build them. Okay, so you need minimum is 8 GB and plus 1 GB you need for Android emulator. Android emulator is a device, virtual device, where it will be there when you install your Android Studio. So this emulator helps the user to execute your program like a virtual mobile phone, virtual Android mobile phone. So it will give you a virtual device on the screen. Therefore, your APK file can be deployed into that APK file and can be executed. So 2 GB of available disk space minimum, 4 GB is recommended. So better we have 4 GB. And next, coming to Android SDK. SDK is a software development kit. So what are the kit's requirements for Android Studio? So to develop any Android program, a software development kit that enables the developers to create the application. So whatever the application you wanted to create. So for that you need both the design part and also for the logic you will be using the Java part. So the Android SDK includes the sample projects with source code. Okay, you need a source code. Source code means you write it both XML and also Java. Okay, XML is used for presentation and your Java is used for business logic. Okay, now development tools, different development tools like emulator and all we require. And emulator is a virtual device where you require it for executing your program or to deploy your program, Android program, and require libraries to build the Android applications. So one is the editor. Editors where you write a code for design or for the business logic. So for that you need an editor. So when you install Android Studio, obviously by default we'll get the editor. Debugger is the another SDK tool that is required for giving the checkpoints and to check from where to where the data or the code is running, and when that code is running, what is happening. So if you wanted to know particular statements and their processing, how they are executing, so that debugging can be done using a debugger, which is available in the Android Studio. Then emulator is the third one, which is used as a virtual device. This is a virtual device for execution. And these are the different libraries. You need different jar files or dependencies you require. So for which you need to import different libraries and packages. So that's the reason this is also one of the SDK. And monitors, which monitors continuously what is happening, what is a log, who created the application, when, to what extent the application has been created, and to what extent it has been completed. So the such type of thing how Gradle build is building your XML and your Java part, how your manifest file is going to build. All these configuration parts can be take care by this monitors. So all these are nothing but your SDK. Then Android editors. Coming to Android editors, so I will show you how this editor is look like. So if you see here, this is a screen where it is showing you a complete Android Studio, and here if you could see reports table activity.java and layout.xml. So this part is one editor to write a Java part, and this part is the one which is used to execute your XML file. So this is the editor. So this is nothing but your editor where you edit your code and execute. Okay. So editors are the text that you write or source code. The text that we write is a code, either using XML for displaying or Java for running the program in the background, the business logic. So both the editors which is used to write the code, following are the advantages. So provides the syntax highlighting for XML. So when you are typing, when you type any code, suppose if you are giving something like text view, so directly you will get what are the components that are there. So from there you can just click on that. Within a click, you will get those components displayed on the editor. This is the Android editor as I told you. And this is what the emulator. This part is nothing but the emulator. So this is emulator. This is all editor. Okay. And in this editor, you write a text. So when you are writing some text like this, so say text view, text element. So find view by ID. When you give, you will get directly r.id. Simply enter, you will get the text displayed here. So this is how the editor is providing you the automated syntaxes and all, where it can be fetched and accessed by the user. Next one is a debugger. So debugger is used which allows us to select a device to debug on your app and set the breakpoints. Breakpoints are nothing but the checkpoints. What are the breakpoints we are saying? These are nothing but the checkpoints. Checkpoints means, suppose you have a code like this. So what is happening from here to here? I have given a checkpoint, and from here I have given a checkpoint. So in between these two checkpoints, so what is happening? How the data is getting, how the code is getting processed. So that can be checked by the debugger. Checkpoint can also be known as a breakpoint. Okay. So in your Java, Kotlin or C++ code, anything can be used. In Android Studio, we are going to use Java only. Examine variables and evaluate the expressions at the runtime. So you have to evaluate some expressions. So what after this expression, what is the value? Okay, then you can set the checkpoints and you can just debug what is happening. So this is the checkpoints. So you have a debugger console here. So under this console, you can play the debugger once you give the checkpoints. So these are all the checkpoints. These are the two checkpoints that you have. So you can set these checkpoints, and here if you see, it will show you what has been running in between this. So in between this red line and this red line, what is happening? So what it is returning, why it is returning I. So that you can see by using this debugger code. Now, so this is a debugging process. As you have given the checkpoint, what are the variables that are been created when you given a debugger. So this is where these are the two checkpoints you have. That means we are going to see what is been running in this line. So this checkpoint gives you these activities. Okay. Next is the emulator. As I told you, emulator is a virtual device. So we call it as a AVD. AVD is an Android virtual device where whatever the deploying of an application is done. So that deployment is showing you some output. That output can be visible on your Android virtual device. So that's the emulator. And you can use the Android emulator as a target platform to run and test. So you can also test it. Using Android emulators is optional. So we can also connect directly our Android phone to our laptop, so that you can deploy your file or you can place the APK file directly into your mobile using a cable, USB cable. That is one option. And the other option will be, if you don't have any Android device, then you can make support of this AVD, which takes help of the emulator. You'll have different Android versions which are available for the emulator. You have to just install them within a click. So if you click on, it will get installed by very fastly, so that whatever the emulator that is installed, from that you can just see the output, or you can just deploy the application. So this is what emulator installation steps. So we are going to connect a phone only, so we'll go with the phone. So why we have TV, Wear OS, tablet, automotive? Because there are also different set of devices where you can connect. Nowadays we are connecting everything to TV also. Even in the car also we are able to connect our phone directly to the using the Bluetooth. So like that you can select. So here I have selected phone. In phone you have so many examples here. Okay, so many different examples where it shows you what is the density and what is its resolution. Based upon the resolution you can select one. So here pixel 3 is selected, and just you have to click on next. So this is a page where it will open to install your emulator. So it creates the emulator. So once you click on next, that will get installed directly. So next will be the libraries. So what are libraries? You can add external libraries. You can using the dependencies in Android. So dependencies are nothing but the .jar files. We all know that when we are using the Java, we require some .jar file which is compatible to our devices, so that all the different activities or can be configured and they can be executed easily without any interruption. So that can be done because of you have compatibility using the .jar files. So that is nothing but your dependencies. So copy the dependency and paste it in your device. Build Gradle. You will have build Gradle that I will show you in the application, so that whatever you have pasted, that will just, when you run your program, the Gradle will take care of all these jar files, and it will bind everything, the XML part, the Java part, and all the dependencies, and it will give you the output. So after adding the dependency, you can use corresponding component like view component or edit text component or any other component that you wanted to require. You can easily use it. So here this is a build.gradle. Build.gradle is nothing but your file. So dependencies, this is the code, sample code that shows you what are the libraries or dependencies that you are going to bind within your Android Studio. So this is a sample. So we have an Android Studio documentation. So this is a sample that is taken from the documentation of how to add the dependency. So using this code like dependencies, block of code, implementation. So this is what com.android.support:card view. So card view is one of the dependency of the version 28. You are trying to add this dependency using this code. Okay. So once you add those dependencies, so this is the build Gradle. This is where your Android Studio, once it is open, this application will get open. So here in the Android, under the Android, you will have app, manifest file, Java, resources, Gradle script. Under the Gradle script, you will have this build Gradle, this one. So build Gradle app module. If you go to there, you can see what all the dependencies that are added. So if you see here, these are the dependencies. One is the file tree dependency, and the other one is a test compile, and com.android support, something like app compat activity, and compile files. These are the jar files for the different languages, common languages of libraries. So these are the dependencies that are added here. Next is the monitors. We require Android Studio, all these SDK tools in the Android Studio to write and develop and deploy your application. So monitors, just you'll have a device explorer towards the right side of the panel. So when you have this, okay, when you have your Android Studio window is open, towards the right bottom, you will have a device file explorer. Like simply how we'll have a file explorer? We'll have this file explorer in our phones also, Android phones. So what is the use of this file explorer? It will just open, okay, and wherever the files are, you can just organize and you can manage them, you can access them, and you can store them. So such that use whatever we are using file explorer in Android, the same we can do with the device file explorer, which will monitor each and every file and what is happening, what are the permissions that are given, when it is created, what time, what is the size of the particular file. Everything can be monitored using this monitors. Okay, so this is device file explorer is nothing but the tool that is used for monitoring your Android application that are created by your app, and if you wanted to transfer to and from a device, you can do it. Okay.